Go ahead, have a seat, cross the shins, 1 foot under each knee, flex the feet, not just the toes, but flex the entire length of the foot so the ankle stabilizes to be able to push the outer edge of the foot into the floor better. Press your hands into your thighs, lift your spine up. Drop the shoulders, let your eyes close for a minute. So before we get started, just take a moment or two, enjoy the breath. And just as we identify what we're here for, we kind of think about what we get out of these practices, all the influences on us externally that keep us from that thing that we want. Right? Being aware of what were the big things that changed or you reacted to this day? What are the smaller things? Because even if all the things that you had to react to this day, they might have been good, remember that's still you working and reacting to. That even the smallest things is just another drop in the bucket of effort and engagement that you went through today. So when we come on our mat, I offer you the idea of don't check out. As some places might run music in their classes or offer distraction. You might be tired from the day of all the things that you had to react to and learn from and change to. But is yoga going to be the time that you just try to check out, like take an active nap mentally? Or do you continue to develop that discipline to practice that level of awareness, not just in your hamstrings and your hips, but how all of you reacts? Can you continue to develop that and sharpen that discipline that even when you're tired, even when your day might have been long or easy or full, that you recognize the infinite space you have for what you go through? You have the infinite ability to stretch your awareness to that degree, to gain more wisdom, experience, insight through the influences and actions and results of your life. Because it doesn't get externally slower, right? The world doesn't slow down for us. Nor do we have to speed up to catch all of the world. But it's how we choose to act and move through it. And not let ourselves not become complacent, but not challenge ourselves to be the fullest that we can be. There are times to hide, but the yoga practice, it's time to check in with all that you are, go through, experience, and know. Bring the palms together at the chest, thumbs touching the sternum. We'll om shortly 3 times and begin. Take a breath. Keep your feet flexed. Shoulders down, spine still lifted, including the neck. Bow your head and salute the essence of yoga inside yourself. Bring your hands into your lap, let your head rise, your eyes open. Hi, Pratima, welcome. Go ahead, lay on your back, grab a block and a strap. We'll warm up with the same thigh depression. We're going to continue to work Padagonstasana. We're going to add to it, right? I said this would be the last of this kind of stuff we work on for a stretch, at least in this pose, and how we practice it. So take the block under your right thigh. The block will be flat right up against the base of your glute, right in your thigh. The right thigh presses down into the block and the right foot will lift up off the floor most likely. Draw your left knee to your chest. Take your strap around your left foot, stretch it up. You stretch the left thigh up, press the right thigh down more. Start asking the leg muscles to wake up, the hips. Once you feel the left hamstring stretch, stop pulling with the strap, but try to keep the leg that high. So Tris likes, let's go over strap. You keep the strap on the foot. And then hold this for just a moment or two. Let the left muscles of your leg warm up, wake up, stretch. Start to get tired and crampy, great. Grab the strap, keep the flex of that muscle. Now draw the leg in just a little deeper. Open up the back side of that leg and the hip. Take your left leg out to the left side, opening up the hip and groin, pressing the right thigh down into the block. Extend through that right thigh, pressing down the inner outer thigh into the block, and extend the left leg against the strap. Can you flex similar muscles of the left thigh as you are the right thigh, namely the top of the left thigh? Moving it, or as Mr. Angar would say, the left thigh muscle must suction to the bone and stay there. Bring your left leg up. Take your left leg across to the right, only about 5 or 6 inches, just enough to stretch the outer hip, but press the right thigh down and try to engage that right thigh a little more, the right inner thigh specifically. Go ahead and bend your left knee. Take the strap off your left foot. Keep pulling the left knee close to your chest as you can as you press the right thigh into the block. Take your left hand, grab the left knee, right hand grabs the left foot, and then pull the shin bone across the chest. Begin to stretch and rotate the thigh hip. Now notice as your left thigh moves into the hip stretch, you meet the resistance of moving it any further, how the right knee wants to rotate out. And the knee bend, try to rotate things in more, even if you feel like it might be a little bit of an exaggeration. Keep encouraging those muscles to set towards center. It's easy for them to want to turn out. Continue pulling the shin towards the chest as best you can. And don't let the knee be bent so much that the calf muscle is laying against your hamstring. Unbend that knee so the angle of femur bone to shin is a little less than 90. No more than, but less than 90. Yeah. You don't want to go more. Try to open it. Holding onto the foot knee, pull your chest up any degree. Flex the right thigh, push the thigh down, and use the abdominals, not just to pull your neck, right? Try to lift your shoulders any degree, drawing the front ribs down towards the abdominis, pushing your lower back and thigh down, and lift up towards your shin. You want to wrap the forearms around the shin bone to hold a little more, go for it. Making that core strong. Work that right thigh. Are you stretching your right leg long and pushing it down? Try that. Keep the head looking towards center line of the body. Take your left hand behind your head, place your palm flat into the head. Your hand isn't pushing, just the hand just touches the back of your head, so you start having to stretch that left shoulder open. If you can lift your chest up to pull your head up a little more, great. If you want more with the arm, without turning the head, you don't want to lean the head or turn it too much, move your left hand towards your right shoulder. And then if you can keep, again, your head from turning and you can lift your ribs up and pull your hip down at the same time, your left hand might grab your left big toe, somewhere nearish your ear. Said it might not, we'll see. Take your left arm out from behind the head. Lay your head, shoulders back to the floor. Grab your left big toe with your right hand. Stretch the leg up best you can. Just push the foot against the hand and extend the hamstring, holding on with your right hand. The leg may not be straight, but you don't lose the bottom leg. All right, bend your knee, your left knee. Go ahead, stretch the leg out, switch blocks. Or switch legs, the block is under. So the block should be under your left thigh with the block flat. And then you'll hook your right foot with the strap, stretch the leg up as you press the left thigh bone, left foot down into the block. Start to feel the stretch of your right leg. You work the left side a lot. The right muscle, thigh muscle might be a little more warm because it pushed into the block the whole time. But best you can, draw that right leg into a bit of a stretch and then let go of the strap to a degree that you can feel the leg have to work harder to hold the pose itself. Notice, is this side different than the other? Try not to let yourself get overly distracted by a lot of things around you. Keep pets. Distracting noises. Be aware of where your senses go, the stimulation they reach for during challenge, right? Do you notice your eyes wander? You clog your ears get tight when it's hard to do something. What's the stimulation you're seeking out rather than being in what you're going through? Grab the strap, pull the leg in while still holding the very strong flex of the leg. Let it stretch for another moment or so. Push your left thigh down, take your right leg out to the right. Feel the muscles of the left thigh as you push it into the block. Notice which ones are working. Can you engage those top right thigh muscles, the quad from the knee to the hip, to suction to the bone firm? Leg up. Take your right leg across to the left side, 6 inches, just to start stretching that outer hip. So the thighs come in a little closer. It might be easier to press the left thigh down, especially the inner thigh. Go ahead, bring the right leg up, bend the right knee towards the chest. Take your strap off to the side, please. Left hand will grab a hold of the right foot. Right hand holds, stabilizes the knee. Draw the shin towards your chest. Open up the hip. Give that hip a moment to open before we lift the chest. So don't worry about your head, neck, shoulders yet. Work the arms by bending the elbows. Work the thighs, stretching the hip open. Take a nice deep breath in. Use the strength of the bend of the elbow so your back lifts a little. Start to lift your chest up, shoulder up, head up towards the shin. And then if you want to wrap your arms around it to help kind of hold it, challenge the stretch of that hip. Let's kind of experiment how your arms can help by pushing the forearms down into the shin, not just to retract the shin towards your chest, but the more you push the forearms down, you might be able to lift the back a little better, not just pull the shin to you. Move the right hand behind the head. Keep trying to lift that side of the body, even though the arm doesn't do as much of the work. You challenge the core muscle, the back. Be aware of where your head is, not to try and turn it too much. It can stretch more towards the shin, but if the chest lifts, move the hand behind the head towards the left shoulder. But be aware of where your head and eyes go, right? When in the challenge, what other things are you seeking out? If you want your hand to reach for your toes, go for it, but try not to lose much of the other parts of it. It's okay to try and not get it. But use your senses as you go for it to see where it's tight, what's easy, what's hard. We're almost there. Take the right hand from behind the head, grab a hold of the shin, lay your back neck to the floor. Left hand grabs right big toe, stretch the right leg up. Work that left thigh. I know you haven't forgot it in the block. You're going to miss that block when it's gone. All right, good. Bend that right knee, bring the leg down. Switch the block. You do not have to. Switch the block under your right thigh. Now we're going to kind of go over the hand position that you want to develop when doing Padagonstasana. That is not just grabbing your big toe. The leg going in front of you has a stage past lifted, extended. It comes back in front of you, and then it's a way more lifted version of the chest. Very similar to what you just did when you pulled the shin to the chest. You actually do with your arm, with your leg straight up in the air. You pull your chest up to it. We're going to play with that. Pull your left knee to your chest. Grab your left foot with both hands. Now, even if your leg doesn't straighten, that's fine, but do the best you can. Push your right thigh into the block, and then push your left foot, left leg against your hands. And notice the leg stretches, but the knee doesn't necessarily just go, your thigh doesn't necessarily lift away from your body. If you pull with those arms a little, you can keep the leg close to you and then have to use the strength of the leg to stretch it. A little different than just locking the knee and letting your foot overly relax. So for a moment, bend your knee to take some of the tension out of your hamstring. Keep the stretch, but just make it a gentle stretch for a moment. We'll make it hard in other ways. Push your right thigh down so your leg's going to help. Bend your elbows wide. Lift your chest up towards your shin. Think about your middle back, upper back, your core flexing to pull your front ribs down. And what it takes with the arms pulling down against the foot and the foot pushing against the arms to create any lift of the rib cage, and then actively lift the crown of the head and the nose towards the shin. Then if you want more, please, by all means, keep your lifted chest and straighten your leg. But I think at this point, if you're in it and you're having to work both parts, you can do it clearly, do it. Don't need to go to the max. Not going to get you, but it's okay to test and play it out, right? All right, exhale, bend the knee, bring the head, neck, shoulders down. Keep a hold of the leg as you bend the knee. All right, so that's with the arm straight. That is with the inner muscles. We want to access the back muscles of the body better. This is done with a certain hand position. You need to, I'm going to try my best to talk through it, but you need to see it on screen. If you're working the left leg, let me pull my foot up. Take the back of your right hand and touch the sole of your foot. So my right palm is facing the exact same direction as my left foot. My right index finger and thumb are sticking out the side of my foot, So I can grab my left wrist. So back of the right hand on the foot, back of your left hand on your right palm. Right index finger grabs left wrist. Left hand grabs nothing. So now, because the way you've put your hands into this position, if you push your foot just a little against your hands, notice the muscles of your back get dragged a little straighter. What are you doing? Yeah, just grab your wrist. There you go. So that action starts to stretch the outer back muscle. It will make it easier to lift because when you grab the foot with just the inner hand, it does pull the shoulder. But because of the rotation of your arms, when you push your foot against that, the back muscles are engaged better to lift. So you get it where it's going. Bend your elbows wide just a little. Just keep your elbows bent. Push your foot against your hands as hard as you can. Start to stretch the leg a little more. And then exhale. Pick your chest up, head up, crown of the head and nose towards the shin. And then push your legs against your hands more to stretch that hamstring. Now take a breath, work your right thigh, because eventually you have to learn to do this standing. Well, you don't have to. I mean, no, you don't have to learn any pose in yoga, but by God, we're going to try today, aren't we? No one has to do anything. You can practice all versions of this or different things and never do this version and still do very well. But at least we should know it exists, right? Bend the knee, take the arms out. Well done. Let's do the other leg. Slide your block over. You okay? Block under your left thigh. Stretch the leg long, press the left thigh, the leg of the left leg, and press the left thigh down into the block. Draw your right knee to the body. Just grab the foot with both hands. Don't do the palm to palm trick. I want you to kind of feel the difference on each side. So with your right hand holding your big toe joint, your left hand holding your pinky toe joint or whatever, push the foot up against the hand, stretch it long, even with the elbow straight, and see the difference. See how much more, it can almost be easier just to let the knee stretch it because your back and your arms aren't giving it resistance. The leg's not helping lift itself into the pose here. It's just being held by arm. Bend your knee a little bit. Bend your elbows wide. Pick up your chest, head, nose, shin towards the shin. Pick up your torso so you feel the abdominals flex, the back widen a little. Feel the difference this arm position is versus the other one. How much harder it is with this hand position, in my opinion, than the other way. Sure, your leg can feel a little straighter, but it's not about just the straightness of your leg. Exhale, bring the head down, bend the knee a little. Take the left foot, right foot. So back of your left hand goes against the sole of your right foot. So the crease of my wrist is right in the arch of my foot. My index finger and thumb of my left hand are sticking to the outside of the right foot. I stretch my right arm forward, place the back of my right hand against my left palm, and wrap my left index finger and thumb around the wrist. It's like a sandwich. The foot is the bottom. You got hand in hand. Point the foot, bend the elbows a little bit. Already feel the back muscle flex to lift. Feels good. This is very good for stretching your arms, forearms, wrist. Very good for opening the back. Push the foot, point the foot. Feel the action of the leg stretching. Feel the thigh flex. Pick up the chest, nose towards the shin. And then after you got your back body core into it, if you want to stretch the leg more, go for it. You want your forward folds to look really good, you do this pose quite a bit because this teaches your upper back to extend into the fold without putting strain on your lower back. Very good for those of us with tight hamstrings like myself. Work your left thigh. Your right hand. Rest if you got to rest. Stop. All right, take the leg out. Stretch it out for a moment. Take your block out. Lay on your back for a second. Have a mini savasana moment, like just with your knees bent or legs straight, whatever just you need to kind of breathe, catch your breath from the work. It's interesting after weeks of practicing this, how much one or two little changes makes, right? You change the hand position, gets different. You change just even the amount of time you spend pushing your thigh into the block, it changes it. Okay, to take that in for a moment. That doesn't mean, usually, and I mean changing it makes it harder, but the hardness of it doesn't mean you failed. It just means that there's always that much more. There's always that challenge to keep you honest. Are you really going towards challenge, or are you getting complacent? One of the things I think I have done well in my own practice is not let myself be complacent. All right, bend your knees, roll to your right, stand on up. Grab a chair, grab a block, and a spot on a wall somewhere. You're going to open up your chair so the seat of the chair is facing away from your body, or away from the wall, and which is where your body will be. You're going to stand with your back to the wall and place the block behind your right thigh. The block will be flat to the ceiling, so it's the narrow, long side of the block pushing in against your thigh in the wall. Once your right thigh is in place, pick your left foot up, stretch your left leg out on the chair in front of you on the top back edge, or on top of the seat of the chair for those of you that are rocking the bar stool. I'm a big fan of the bar stool in this pose. It's good. If you need a good bar stool for your yoga practice, IKEA sells one that is almost identical to the chair Mr. Iyengar designed and used in India. I think Chaya has it. I have the same one. I can tell Chaya shops at IKEA. So press your right thigh into the block. Get that right thigh stable. Stretch forward. Both hands touch the bar of the chair or your stool to start stretching your hamstring. So now your upper body is again coming towards the leg. This is different than when you're laying on the floor and we pull the leg up. But it is also similar in one respect. Feel you're pulling your chest towards your thigh now, not your thigh up towards your chest. So you don't have to lift your core, use your core to move you forward like this. But what if you used your back muscles in the same way as you did when you lifted your back up off the floor? So carefully bend your left knee just a little, take the hamstring out of it. If you can rest your heel up on the top part of the chair for a moment, try. And try not to lose your block. I know this is asking a lot. This is a lot of pose. Take the back of your right hand, place it against the sole of the foot. Left hand reaches around the outside of the left foot. So your right index finger and thumb grab the wrist. Bend your elbows. Push your feet against your hands and stretch the leg straight again. But when the leg stretches a little straighter, you might fall. Let your chest get dragged into the stretch towards the foot. Remember when teachers like myself will say, when you stretch forward, extend your spine. Don't flatten it, but extend it. Use the strength of your leg pushing against the back of your hands in this way with your elbows bent to teach your upper back how to extend like that. Bend your elbows a micro bend. Always keep them slightly bent, like you're trying to flex the bicep, tricep. Now, if I was a cruel teacher, I would say you now have to learn how to stand straight up and pull your leg up into the air from this pose. I am not a cruel teacher. Don't do it to yourself. But that's where the pose goes, is that this pose is about you kind of bringing your leg up past the height of your hip to about the height of your chest, and then bring your chest towards your thigh. So your chest isn't perfectly upright, nor is your leg perfectly out straight. It's somewhere kind of in the middle. It's a very challenging pose. It takes a lot of back strength. It takes a lot of standing leg strength. That's part of the reason we've been working with the block behind our thigh, to teach your thigh how to do the greater part of the work. The first thing that happens, people lose balance. A few more seconds here. All right, go ahead, bring the leg down. Let go with your hands first, bring the leg down. Switch legs. You okay? It might feel like a lot of this is just very strong muscle building, but it will create much more flexible hips. The thigh muscles being strong enough to help rotate or extend. Very important for a lot of your hip openers. Seated poses, tons of your seated poses get better doing this. Seated forward fold especially. Take your block behind your left thigh, push it to the wall. Take your right foot up onto the chair. Stretch forward, grabbing a hold of the chair just to start kind of testing out the hamstrings, see where things are. Notice how easy it is to fold forward. Your core doesn't have to do much. We want our backs to extend. All right, keep your left thigh behind, pressing into the block. Bend your right knee a little bit just so you can take some of the tension out of your hamstring. So right leg's forward. If your right leg is the one up, back of the left hand against the sole of the foot. Right hand to the outside of the foot, so your left index and thumb can grab it. So layering of hand. Inner arch, outer foot. Inner arch. There you go. Push the foot against the hand. Point your foot. Really extend that leg by pointing the top of the foot first and then stretching the hamstring into it. Keep your elbows bent the whole time. Don't try to pick your spine up straight, but keep the elbows bent so your upper back drags into it. Teaches your hands to be strong too, especially to hold that wrist. You'll go get the stool. Get the stool. Bend your elbows. Very good. Keep going, guys. You got this. Left thigh strong. Come on, try it. Grab that foot. Bend those elbows wide, dear. You've got this. Pratima, bend your left elbow more than your right. There you go. Woo. Yeah, there's where all your tension was. That's where you put all your balance. Few more seconds. Try pointing the foot differently. See if flexing your foot or pointing the foot creates a different amount of work for you. I prefer pointing. Trust me, I think you would want that. Not for me to prefer it, but you'll want the benefits of the point. All right. Good. Bend the knee. Take the arms out of it. Step your foot down. That's fun and hard. Go ahead, set your chair off to the side, or just move your chair away from the wall a little bit. Put your block down and face the wall, about your leg length away from the wall, maybe a hair less. So turn and face the wall. Step your right. Start into Tadasana. Pick up your right leg and then stretch your right leg out, taking your right foot and just one lift and extension. How high can you put your foot up on the wall? Little back your hip, maybe a little higher. Who knows? Imagine there was a block behind your left thigh and push into it. Bend your right knee, and whatever you can to move that foot a little higher up the wall, do so. So now we're going to test where the foot goes in relationship to the chest and shoulders in that full form of that pose. So as your right foot goes up, you might have to hop your left foot forward a little closer to the walls because this is not the splits. Take your right foot even higher if you can. Hop your left foot forward. Regardless of where your right foot is on the wall, try to push the heel into the wall, but pull the foot off, pull the toes and the 5 joints away from the wall. So it's like you're flexing your foot hard, just pushing the heel in, but your toes and the foot comes off. That strength you're feeling, like how the leg's going to slide down the walls, because over flexing the ankle like that reduces the ability of the hamstring to help hold the leg up. Bend your right knee. Now pull your heel off the wall. Not your heel, I'm sorry. Keep your heel on the wall. Keep your right knee bent. Right heel touches the wall. Pull the right toes and the front of the foot off the wall. It comes off easier because now your hamstring is stabilizing a bent knee. It's much easier. So often when you're stretching your hamstrings and trying to figure out how to open your hip back hamstring, the point of your foot is more important than the flex. The toes need to be flexed, but that's dorsal flexion. That's a later tool. Keep your right knee bent. Keep your heel on the wall. Lean forward. And if you can, grab the foot with both hands and push your foot into your hands against the wall. Bend your elbows. Push the foot into the hands and then slowly straighten the legs, but don't let your elbows straighten. The bend of your elbows that pulls you forward, keep that forward pull as you stretch the leg long. The hamstring will move, I promise. It is hard, though, to keep the leg up past the plane of the hip. This is a pose of upper back muscle and core. Very similar to like when rowers pull on the oars. It's that same elbows coming back, chest back flexing feeling. There you go. Around your upper back. Thank you. More. There you go, honey. Yeah. Good challenging yourself. So now the foot is higher probably than the chair or the stool, and you kind of see the new set of challenges. Back muscle, core muscle, all works. Go ahead, step the foot down. Let's do the other leg. Right foot on the floor, right leg strong. Step your left foot, pick your left leg up, and just put the foot high as on the wall as you can in one extension where you don't hop it. You just lift and extend. It might start kind of low and then we'll hop it up in a minute, but just kind of see where your strength of extension is. Bend your left knees, take your foot up the wall a little higher. You've already done one foot, so you have a kind of a marker, mental marker, where your other foot was. Can you move your left foot to meet that? Don't take your foot higher than the other, but note if your left foot could go higher than the right, maybe next time start with your left foot, see how high it can go, and can the right leg catch up? Keep the left knee bent, actually bend the left knee deeper. push your left heel into the wall and flex the foot, pull the toes and the front joint, the metatarsal, off the wall. Reach forward, grab the foot with both hands, bend the elbows wide. Make your upper back already start to do so much more work, like you're trying to pull the foot off the wall. And then point your left foot, point it hard into the hands, like you're going to pinch your hands flat between the foot and the wall, and you will. Stretch the leg longer the more you push the foot. Think about the strength of the arm is still pulling back like a rower pulling on the oar. You pull back on that foot, those elbows move back, those shoulder blades flex into the back. But don't try to flatten your spine, extend your upper body. Round your low back. Thank you. Now work your right leg. Woo! Shaking like a leaf in the wind, quads burning. Leg down. All right, let's see what happens. Let's just go at it with the wall. Turn your back to the wall, put your back against the wall, and your heels will be a couple inches away. Do not put your feet against the wall. Put your butt, back, all that is. All right, here's the moment. We're going to try that whole shebang with the grip and the push and the lift, and just kind of see where your extension's in. It's not just stretching the leg straight out. We're not just doing Padagonstasana 1. We will do one, but then it's going to have to be bend, try to hook the hands, and then push up and nose towards shin. I fall out of this all the time. I get a hip cramp so bad, it just makes me want to quit. I do fall out a lot though. So if you do, great. Just hear that your teacher's flawed. We can all work on and make a beautiful mess. Back to the wall, hips to the wall. Pick your right knee up as high as you can. Right hand goes to the inside of the right leg and grabs your right big toe. Pick the leg up and just hold. Notice where your left leg is. Do you still have the imaginary block behind your thigh? And then just push the leg against that arm. The shoulder's going to move out a little bit, that's fine, but can you still lift your chest, lift your core, and go for height? Very nice. Go, Chaya, go. Good, good, good. Very good, Shubha. Good extension. Man, everyone's done so well these last few weeks. All right, bend your right knee before we all get tired. Now the hard part, you have to lean your body forward, and you can either grab the foot with both hands, or you can try for the back of the hand to the back of hand trick. Point the foot. And even if you just hold this here, notice how much harder it is to balance with your upper body pulled forward slightly. Your core has to flex to keep you upright. Just even pick your foot up the height of your knee. Try that and hold. Bend your elbows wider. Make your upper body do more work. And then push the foot against the hand and bend the elbows and just kind of challenge both parts. The back comes away from the wall a bit, but the leg lifts up because the elbows are bending. Woo. My standing leg usually would cramp out right now. So if you're in it, stronger yogi than me, come on down. I don't see, like, we only have one camera off. It doesn't look like anyone had a blowout yet. So let's do the other leg. Left foot up, left leg up. You've worked for weeks to start to be able to start exploring this with some level of confidence. Lift that left knee up. Left hand grabs that left big toe. Back spine lifted, core lifted. Remember, Padagonstasana 1 is just extension. When you push that big toe against those fingers, right? The ankle stretches, and then lengthen the leg out. So as the arm pulls up, it goes up. There's a lift. Bend your left knee. Keep the leg up best you can. Remember, lean forward, take your upper back off the wall a little bit, grab the foot, or you can do the hand to stack the hands and grab the wrist. I highly recommend you take opportunities to work this version. A lot of power in your upper back. And then best you can. Bend your elbows, pulling your upper body towards the thigh shin. Point your foot, and without letting your elbows straighten, pull that foot up as that foot pushes out. And you just keep it bent. Don't worry about going perfectly straight. Work stability, work experience, right? And in the suffering in the moment, can you turn your senses? Where are your eyes? Where's your hearing? Where's your sound, smell, taste, all of that? And where do they want to go rather than be here? Take a nice deep breath. Come on down. Nicely done. Grab a block, lay on your back. Have your chair nearby where you can put your feet up on it, or something to add a little bit of height to your legs so your feet aren't flat to the floor. So you can even use the wall, which is fine. So you're going to lay on your back with your chair if you straightened your legs, your feet could be on the chair, but not your knee, right? Parts of your calf. This is not about perfect place chair. I just don't want the chair so close that your knees touch it. So if you're using the wall, your feet just need to be higher than your, about 2 foot off the floor, roughly. Take the block, place it on edge, the second height. Remember, flat, edge, tall. Long edge goes under your sacral plate into bridge. Dome your heart a little bit, drawing the top of the shoulder down, opening up the front of the chest. Take both feet up onto the wall or the chair and let your legs extend and relax. And then just let your eyes close. Good use of the legs on that stool there, Ryan. So just with your arms out to the side of your body, notice, are you even gripping or flexing? And all these poor worked muscles, can you just let them feel that even though you're in a pose, so the practice isn't through, what they carried from your last work? Part of what we go through in the yoga practice is a certain amount of challenge that may be uncomfortable. But it's through that discomfort we learn something about ourselves. There is something that discomfort teaches us that nothing else does. I'm not saying discomfort is the best teacher or even my preferred teacher, but it does teach us something in a way that nothing else does. No amount of hearing the right thing from our friends, or telling our friends the right thing, they're just going to have to suffer through it, right? We all know people that just got to go through that process. I've been that person that has to just mess up before I learn. But it doesn't mean what you went through is bad, just challenging, uncomfortable. So feel the muscles of your hands and your arms that got stretched and pushed and worked and flexed. Did you learn something in that uncomfortableness? Do you feel something different in your body after that uncomfortableness, that challenge? Take a moment in this pose, in this bridge pose. Go ahead, let your eyes close even. And see how the feeling of your legs and breath and feelings about what you did connect with each other. Right? If yoga means to yoke mind to body, it's just not explorative of each part, but letting each part mix together and really getting the full picture or fuller picture. Pay attention to your breath. Pay attention to your legs and how they feel. Does your breath change? Do your feelings change? Pay attention to the sensations in your arms or your back, your hips. Turn the senses of you towards yourself fully. So you're not just trying to learn one piece of a yoga pose, but you're using as a yoga pose to learn of the many pieces of you. And you learn how all those pieces fit together. So you can be a fuller you. So rest, my friends, here for another minute or so. Enjoy the fruits of your yogic practice. Slowly increase the depths of your breathing. Begin to awaken the body, opening, closing the hands, pointing, flexing the feet. Draw your knees to the body. Plant your feet to the floor, lift your hips, take the block out. Once your hips land to the floor, roll to your right, and slowly up you come. Until we meet again, namaste.